that, I actually, maybe with slight bias, think the man of the match was quite clearly John Bateman, and I can't believe that Sky love him so much and they didn't give him the award.
I know.
But yeah, what happened really is Wigan were very lateral, I felt, in the first half, and Huddersfield coped with that really well and defended strongly against it. Both sides defended really well, actually, for most of the piece. That suggests the low score line, a few tries off errors and kicks. Wigan were poor in the first half with their attack. It was quite predictable, quite sideways. They weren't really using good lines, anything to confuse the team. Lewis Tierney seems to be lacking in attacking option, unfortunately, from the fullback position, which was relied upon heavily for attacking impetus over in the Sean Wayne era. Huddersfield, on the other hand, were putting a few more plays on, actually. There was a little bit of wraparound, a little bit of... Ellis was going everywhere, and Connor was sort of coming off the back of that, and that's probably where he suits best playing, because he's not really a half-back as it is. But at the end of the day, I think it turned around at half-time. The first 20 minutes of the second half, Wigan decided to stop shifting the ball around wide, and took it to the Huddersfield interchange, which was the weakest part of the Huddersfield side, you've got to say anyway, the bench. Took it to them down the middle, and all the Wigan forwards, the 12 middle units that they have played, or something ridiculous. But they have 4 middle unit players on the bench, backing up the forwards that were starting the game as well. All those players finally started to go forward. People started to get half breaks or breaks. Bateman had a good run, but then had the ball knocked out, and Tautai even had a good run. If you get the guy to run or hit, he can do an alright job. It's when he has to do anything like figure which side of the ruck is supposed to be defending on and not take 5 minutes about it so that the other team can score. There were some controversial tries, I would say, in the lead up to Don Manfredi's try. Wigan probably should have scrummed 10 metres out rather than got to play the ball 1 metre out, because Wigan knocked on the way down, I'm pretty certain of. On the Jamie Foster try, there was no knock on by Wigan whatsoever. Anthony Gelling threw the ball backwards, Willie Ice landed it on the floor, didn't knock it on, from what I could tell. I don't think there was any knock on there, but Huddersfield I felt like watching it that I was probably maybe just siding with Jamie Foster, maybe out of it went backwards, the ball. Sentiment, but I don't know. But anyway, that gave Huddersfield a good position to attack from. The biggest talking point, I suppose, is the Jake Connor no try. To me, I think it was a fair decision. I've not seen tons and tons of replays of it, but what I've seen, there was nothing to convince me it was a try, and none of the officials live thought it was a try. So I think it's the system working as it's supposed to. We'll get a little bit onto that in the tweets, because there's one that I need to pick on a little bit there. But basically, in the end, I don't think either team did enough to say they were deserved winners of the match. I think Huddersfield take more credit from it because they were the plucky underdogs in it. And one, people don't like Wigan, and two, people root for the plucky underdog. And that was why everyone wanted Huddersfield to win this game by the end. Other than Wigan fans, obviously. But I don't think it was an unfair outcome. And I think Wigan put on probably the best play that they've put on so far all season for the Josh Charnley winning try.
Yes, that was a good play.
Before that, Wigan had scored tries from a loose ball from a kick, 3 mistakes, very close to the defensive line, and then that try was the first real rugby try I think we've scored. But yeah, what did you make of it? I suppose
it was an entertaining game to watch, if not necessarily played pristinely. Do you know what I mean? It was an intriguing contest. There was a couple of things that I took out for it. I looked more really because I figured that Wigan were going to come out and win it, and you kind of knew, even when Huddersfield put the drop goal over, you kind of knew that there was more in the tank for Wigan.
There was 9 minutes left, wasn't
the strength of that interchange was really the big difference maker for me. It was nice to see Jamie Foster come in and make a fucking tackle, and it was a hell of a hit. It was a big hit on Don Manfredi.
Early-ish in the first half.
Middle part of the first half. Yeah, so that was exciting. That kind of got me up off my seat. But yeah, there was some very entertaining individual performances going on. Anthony Gelling's always good value from a neutral point of view.
It's the absolute.
But you see both sides. You see both sides of that boy, don't you? In that game. I think Wigan probably could have and should have won by more, and I think part of the reason they didn't do was that they spent much of the first half targeting a lot of their plays at Huddersfield's right side, where there was Jermaine McGilvray and Leroy Cudjoe defending, as opposed to Huddersfield's left side, where you had Jamie Foster and the young lad what's his name? Big tall
Sam
fella.
Wood.
Looked like a young beaver,
Sam
didn't
Wood, I
he?
think.
Yeah, Sam Wood. Looked like a young sort of Steve Menzies with his scrum cap on, and he was.
It was a very gangly
rangy,
thing, wasn't it?
What have you? But I think someone
stood up well to the pressure that they did take, until obviously the really good line that Anthony Gelling won to set up the position for the final try.
And that was beautiful. That ball back inside from Anthony Gelling was really good. So no, it was an enjoyable game. I feel like justice was done. Wigan should have won and did, but this Huddersfield side certainly didn't fail to live up to what you would expect in terms of a Huddersfield team these days. They did play well. I feel a little bit sorry for them in respect to the people that are saying, oh well, Huddersfield don't know how to win big games. They were missing an awful lot of big game leaders on that field.
Although those players haven't won big games.
No, but I feel like if those players had been on the pitch, you might have seen a different result, is what I'm saying. And,
that's fair.
I don't think it's necessarily you can lay that at their door based on this performance, given the people that were on the pitch for them. But other than that, no, it was a very entertaining game and one I thoroughly enjoyed.
Fair enough. Well, both sides defended well, averaging 95% tackle success each, which was rare for this weekend. Wigan with an extra penalty conceded 11-10 and 6 more errors given away 17-11, put pressure on themselves with mistakes, but with a 0.7 metre per carry better average gain, an extra break, an extra try, an extra 146 metres. They did more with the ball. They made more of the ball that they had by the end of the game, and I think that's what meant Wigan won the game. On the penalty count, I don't think Phil Bentham had a very good game. I think, and I'm not saying it was one way or the other, like I said, there's controversial tries both ways, but I certainly think in terms of his decisions for penalties, for hands in at the ruck or knock on or what have you, that sort of stuff, he let both teams early in sets lie on, and then every set I felt like, well, by the third time he's going to call a penalty, so why is he letting him lie on early doors? He lost control of that, and the game suffered a little bit as a result, because you didn't know when a penalty was going to come and when it wasn't, and it always felt like once a team went behind they were going to get a penalty.
I see.
In those sets, those coming out of your own end sets, and I just think he was wholly inconsistent. He was guessing most of the time, it felt like, and I've not seen them all back yet, but it felt like in the stand, it felt like I couldn't predict what was going to happen when the ball fell to floor.
Right. So who stood out for us individually then?
John Bateman, 43 tackles, 10 marker tackles, no missed tackles. That's no missed tackles in 2 games so far for John Bateman. 189 metres and 3 successful offloads. Liam Farrell with his first try of the season, 45 tackles, 11 of those were marker tackles. So both of those 2 back rowers, probably the best 2 back rowers in the competition.
I would agree.
Or they're up there in any case. Don Manfredi with a try, 124 metres, and Anthony Gelling, like I said, with the classic Anthony Gelling performance, with a try assist, 142 metres and 3 successful offloads. That doesn't say...
It's the intangibles with Anthony Gelling, though, isn't it? It's
the play that... Well, he had a stripped ball, a ball steal on him, which was a bit unfortunate, I suppose. He had the messed up kickoff straight after the dump basketball pass for the Manfredi try, and then there was the knock on that was given that wasn't one, where he passed it around the corner, but it was a silly play. Only Anthony Gelling would do that. But I feel like Wigan wouldn't have won the game without Anthony Gelling, so it's a hard one to decipher. In terms of Huddersfield, there wasn't actually stats wise too many big individual performances. Like I said, Jamie Ellis got all the plaudits, but he didn't hit any of our key markers. But Jermaine McGilvery, he grabbed himself a try in 102 metres, and Leroy Kudjoe with 129 metres.
Well, that's it.
So that suggests as well that they let Huddersfield play on the stronger side. Wigan did, as well as playing towards it.
Yeah.
Which
is good from my point of view, because in a week where tipping makes me look like I couldn't pick my fucking nose, at least some of my dream team players have stepped up and had good individual performances.
This game was the difference between us, and it's only because I don't tip against Wigan.
I know, exactly. And there was one point where I thought, fucking hell, I've looked out here and I've fucking struck gold, and it just didn't quite come off for me. I was cheering Huddersfield on, to be fair, just from a tipping point of view this week. Albert's got in touch. Great performance from the Giants, and unlucky to be on the losing side. The young lads coming in did very well. Every Giant should be proud of that performance and just forget the result. Surprised Wigan didn't put Foster under the high ball more often. Wigan will know they need to play better next week. Andy Barden, the Electric Gigolo, he got in touch. Worried about Wigan's away form. Would Wigan have won against a fully fit Giants side? I tend to agree with that point.
Would the Giants have won against a fully fit Wigan side?
Yes. I Although I based that on absolutely nothing. Andy Barker got in touch. Just to give you shit more than anything else. Andy Barker got in touch. A dull game tonight, which was already mostly forgotten. Wigan probably deserve to edge it, but fear for all three next week. Bob Phillips. While it's given me a super brew point, I'd have preferred Huddersfield to win. Superb long wing passes for those scores, and well done, Jamie Foster. You can take it both ways. Bob's just coming in with like a little bit more this week. I like Bob Phillips after dark this week. I like that. Brian Davies got in touch. Really enjoyed this one. Great to see some good defence on show so far this season. Typical Giants though to fall at the end rather than at the beginning, like some teams will go on to talk about this week. Jamie Ellis crossfield kick that Charlie caught in goal was poor and turned attacking his defence and was a game changer. Chris Macy got in touch with us.
Great take by Charlie. Let's give credit to that as well. Took it above his head, but it was a poor decision by him, I suppose, at that stage of the game.
Yes, okay. Chris Macy got in touch. Huddersfield's kids really did themselves proud tonight. Wigan found a way to win against the Tide. The Giants need to learn that. Again, I think that's a bit harsh under the circumstances. Chris McEwen got in touch. Still a lot of work to do, but ultimately it's 2 wins from 2. Arguably, we have the best second rowers and loose forward. We should try playing them in those positions. Credit to Huddersfield, as I think had they had a few more. And I think they had a few players out injured. I only wish Sky would have mentioned it. Yeah, it did come up, didn't it?
Yeah, I definitely think we lose something in attack, especially without a threat at fullback with O'Loughlin in the front row. It's losing a bit because he's having to be spelled more than he ever has been before. And also, you saw when he played at loose forward in the last quarter of the game, he set up that try in a classic.
What is the thinking behind deploying lockers in the front row?
I can only imagine that they watched Adam Cuthbertson last year.
I think it's trendy to have a prop forward who can offload.
And thought, we'll have an Adam Cuthbertson ball playing kind of guy. But
he can do that from loose forward. I don't understand why you're winning games. So
I just think it's not. Willie Ice has performed well, but he's not a threat.
Yeah, he's workmanlike, isn't he?
I feel. Whereas Bateman on that edge, Farrell on the other edge, with O'Loughlin tying the scrum together, would be more of a threat. But anyway, moving on.
Yes.
Do you want me to do some?
Yeah, there's a few for your boots.
Colin Render said defence is on top tonight. Probably good preparation for Wigan for the World Club Series game next week. They need to come up with some better plays to challenge their opponent's line, though. Diane LBW, she said, Wigan lucky to win, but the result reflects Huddersfield's inability to win tight games, although their young guns stood up very well. I was glad to see Jamie Foster in action again. Not only did he score a try, but he also tackled. Amazing.
I know.
Fee5 Fun, the Giants fanzine, said, the Giants were fantastic tonight. The effort was incredible. The young lads went out and proved that Huddersfield really has a future. It's a shame not to claim a win, but after feeling a bit worried last week, it's almost completely gone now. Ian Gatwood, he got in touch and said, both sides still look undercooked, and at the end of the day, a win is a win. Is a win? Is it a win? I can't see the Aussie sides being worried. Ian Saguna got in touch pretty quickly after the final whistle. Actually, this one came through. He said, I'm guessing this was Mark after Wigan scored the match-winning try. Fist pump, fist pump. Aubergine, squirty. Tough grinding win that was. Thumbs up, 2 from 2. Jess Shaw, she's a Wigan fan who's starting to get in touch this year. It's great to have you on board, Jess. She said, would have liked a bigger scoreline from Wigan, but I suppose it made the game more exciting. Nerve-wracking, I would say. John Dyson.
There is nothing worse than a defeated Wigan drive home with you and your uncle Liam, by the way. So, yeah, it is always good to see you win away from. Just because I know that if anybody else who went with you, was it just you and Liam? Or?
No, our friend Helen, who comes to some games, came, and our cousin, my cousin, Liam's niece.
Yeah.
Why is her name going out of my head? Kelsey
came.
There you go. She got a season ticket this year.
Hey, they always win when Kelsey goes there.
Yeah. Well, Kelsey went to 4 games in a row. The game she came to, Wigan didn't concede a single point for 4 games in a row at one stage.
Good luck talisman, Kelsey. Yeah, there you go.
And they're 100% since she's owned a season ticket. So
I'm putting tonight. Well, that solves it for me. That answers all the questions. Then Joe Kelsey. That's why.
John Dyson, who's a Fed fan, said, entertaining game which I enjoyed. Wigan still looking a little out of form and will need to pick up before next week. Marie Wright said, really enjoyed this match. Our Giants youngsters did far better than expected. Could have won if video referee decided for us. We were both saying, I don't know if we said it before the show.
We were talking beforehand, weren't we?
It would have come down the way it went up either way, wouldn't it? We think.
Yeah.
But
it went up no try and it came down no try. I think if it had gone up as a try, they would have struggled to overturn it. It was just unclear.
There was no evidence to make it certain that a try was scored, but if a try had been given by the refs, there would have been no evidence to make it certain that a try wasn't scored.
Yeah.
But I don't. If the referee right there says no try, that's the way it goes.
That's good enough for me, yeah.
Mark